Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Very Connected podcast, where we share on all kinds of topics related to bariatric surgery. And today I'm being joined by Dr. Brian Grossman. Say hello, Brian.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. And I met Brian a little while back. I believe it was the Obesity Help Conference. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yep.
And I knew that you guys would absolutely love him. And so I thought I got to have Brian on one of these events that we always do. And today he's going to be talking about something he's passionate about. He spoke at the Obesity Help Conference and is very instrumental in helping people with their mindset. And his topic is mastering your mindset, the key to ending self-sabotage and achieving weight wellness. And so, you know, I feel like it's probably one of the biggest things that we go through with our weight loss journey is making sure that our brain is in the right place and it aligns with our goals and basically our overall pattern of health. And so today Brian's going to be talking about that. You guys are going to love him. He is a wealth of knowledge. He has a background in clinical psychology. He's a physician, doctor. He's it's also paired with his own weight loss journey, losing 187 pounds for over 7 years. And Brian, I'm going to just kind of let you kind of take it from there and give a more in depth because I don't feel like I can do you justice. You have a lot of knowledge here to share.
Well, thank you so much, Brenda. I'm so excited. And I will tell you before we jump into my background, just something about mindset and emotional saboteurs that we're going to jump into. I'm extroverted anyway. But sometimes when we go and meet people, and I want to give this tip to all of you, you go to a networking event and you want to meet someone, that judge says, don't. Just go for it. I mean, I met Brenda and her assistant at the Obesity Help Conference and immediately knew we were going to connect. And so, me being extroverted without even building rapport, said, when can I be on a podcast? And then we actually got to know each other. So, just one correction, I am PhD, not MD. So, that's an important distinction. I could tell you how you feel about surgery, but I can't do the surgery for you. So, my background, clinical psychology, PhD, worked with children, adolescents, and then went through my own weight loss journey. And those of you who may have had this process before, some of you have had
I
the
can do you
what
justice.
friends
You have a
call
lot of.
you who may have had this process before. Some of you have had the, oop,
Sorry about that, Brian. It was
no
going
problem.
live and I thought I had myself.
That's okay. No problem. I, yeah, so you'll unmute and let me know. So perfect. So everybody can hear me. So anyway, I had the lap band procedure, which everybody says is the easier one. And if you're old enough like me to remember ESPN with Keith Oberman and Dan Patrick, Keith Oberman would say, so and so is going to have minor surgery. And Dan Patrick would say, all surgery is minor until it's done on you. But I lost the weight and I kept it off. And then I got a very high stress job at a maximum security prison and I don't do anything halfway. I went full in and gained a lot of weight back. And my doctor scared the heck out of me. And when I was researching the gastric sleeve surgery, I myself, as a psychologist, was stunned. Post surgery success is dependent on your mindset and your emotions. It absolutely comes down to that. And I know that firsthand from having gone through this twice. And so today I want to help you master the art of what your mindset can be and what we call emotional saboteurs, what gets in the way of you staying on track and on process. And after I had the gastric sleeve, I was absolutely determined I'm not gaining the weight back. And so, one thing before we get into anything else, and I'm sure Brenda will agree with me, wherever you are in your weight loss journey, 1 day, 2 weeks, 6 months before, 6 months after, 10 years after, memorize this, stay connected. Stay connected to your nutritionist at your surgeon's office. Stay connected to a weight loss group. Stay connected to a buddy that can help you navigate your weight loss journey when we sometimes fall off track. And what do those emotional saboteurs do? The judge is our main critic. That's the one that sits on your shoulder and tells you not to start anything new, or it won't work, or this won't work. But the main thing the judge does after the judge is done with you is you start criticizing others. And so that's not healthy for relationships. So after this podcast, not now, I want you all to get up and go to your kitchen or go to where you keep your protein products and open up those cabinets and drawers and ask yourself, how many different products do I have? Why, how many different new things am I trying? How many things have I started and not finished? And so that's really, really important. And, when I met Brenda at Obesity Health, I subscribed. I'm using the Berry Plus vitamin. I love it. I'm using the protein powder. I could tell the difference because it is pure ingredients, but I don't buy another brand's protein or another protein plan until I'm finished with what I have. And so if you get one thing out of today, and I'm going to keep saying that, I hope you get 10 things out of today. I want you to just start and finish, but I also want you to pay attention to that heavy judge. And we're going to talk about more of the saboteurs and how they impact you. They impacted me when I took that prison job. My surgeon wasn't doing Zoom, so I didn't go to a weight loss group. I could have gone to some in the community I was at. I could have done this or that, and I went off the rails. And as stress happened, I did the best thing I knew how, which is rely on my old standbys: pasta, bread, pasta, bread. I had a vegetable, so that made me feel good. Pasta, bread, some wine, and I ballooned way up. So I got out of that. And now, no matter what, because I'm have a plan, paying attention to how I'm feeling about me on a regular basis. And I'm going to give you some tips today to feel good about yourself immediately and how to stay consistent in that. But I just want all of you to memorize: start something, finish something, and start laughing at that judge. When that judge starts criticizing you, you just go, ha ha ha, that's not true. I am going to start and finish. And you will immediately, over time, begin feeling better about yourself. So that's enough about me. Let's jump in, and I'll turn it over to you, Brenda.
Oh, Brian, thank you so much for all that information. And it's so much of what you said kind of resonated because it's true. When we start something, we have that voice that jumps in our head and says, is this really going to work? And all of those other little thoughts. So, yeah, this last week, actually, last week, I started a new fitness program. And I haven't really been real regimented for a little while. So it was definitely a new start for me, working 4 days a week with a trainer. So I'm feeling kind of like Jello right now. But no, I mean, all those little thoughts kind of pop in your head, and those first couple of weeks of starting something new and kind of going back to some of the basics with my nutrition, like really looking at that. So I know what you mean. It's easy to slip back into the old habits once you kind of start something new because it's so easy. It's comfortable. Starting something new can be a little bit uncomfortable in the beginning. And I love a lot of people are saying, we have a lot of people telling us where they're from on the live event here. And we have Missouri, we have Iowa, we have Michigan, Colorado, Berry Nation. We love our Berry Nation people. We have Oregon, Omaha, Missouri. That's where
Omaha,
I'm from.
Omaha. My wife's from Creighton. In fact, we're going to Creighton and Omaha in June. So,
That's awesome. And we also have Iowa. We have one of our listeners here says Indiana, UK. Wow, Nebraska. And we had one of our listeners say that she actually joins 5 days a week to different groups so that she gets stays really connected. So I think that's awesome. And Tammy says that her support groups are once a month. with her facility and she wishes it was more often. So there is always ways to connect, like Brian said, with other groups and other people. So we're glad you guys are here. Thank you so much. And at that, I say, and we also have people from Facebook. We want to say hello to them. We love you guys on Facebook. Thank you for being there. And at this point, let's get started. I also want to
Right.
mention one of the things that was not a prerequisite one whatsoever, but one of the things that you could do before starting this event was take a little quiz. And Brian, I'm going to put the link in both here and Facebook. And if you're listening to the replay, it'll be in the description. But tell us about what this is. If somebody wants to go in, if they haven't done it, they want to do it later.
Sure. So you're going to go to a site. It is confidential and you get the information. Doesn't come to me. It's positiveintelligence.com. Brenda will put the link in. I think it's /saboteurs, and you're going to take a 10-minute assessment. Now, here's what we know. This is created by Shirzad Chamine at Stanford University, 25 years of research, factor analysis, over 700,000 people worldwide. We know that human beings have these, what we call, or Shirzad calls, emotional saboteurs. And so let me just share, because it'll be easier to see them. You're going to get a score. And I will invite you, and Brenda will share the link at the end of the podcast here, how you can make an appointment with me. And let's go over what these saboteurs are and how they impact you. So they all kind of interconnect. The boss of everybody is the judge, and the judge is the one that is just critical anytime. Now, what you might want to know is, are the saboteurs good or bad? Yes, is the answer. They are good because they are a warning sign, right? If you put your hand on a hot stove, you hopefully only do that once. That emotional saboteur that gives you a warning, you want to pay attention to that. However, when they stop you from making progress, and this is the most important part, at least where I gravitated towards getting certified in this program to coach people, is the saboteurs don't like change. They want you to stay the same. So let's just go over a few of them together. So I'll share with you my high scores. So when I went through the program, I was tied controller, hyperachiever, pleaser. So the controller, everything needs to be a certain way. You want your family to do things your way. You want your friends to react to you in a certain way. You want people to do things a specific way. You want an outcome in something. Here's the bad part. The bad part of the controller is it is stressing you out because the more you try to control others, family, friends, coworkers, even external events, probably the more you'll be disappointed. And most importantly, it's a lot of effort. And people may naturally do the opposite of what you want just to see how you'll react. And I'm sure some of you have run into these people in your life. I call them negaholics. They are negative about everything. They will pick up on your controller and start throwing little verbal jabs to show you who's really in control. And we get frustrated and angry. And I will share with you, I had some family conflict going on. And when I went through this process, I just let go of the control and I started changing my communication. And I would say to my wife, I wonder if we can try it this way. Wow, that's a great idea. Could we do this? And so, one trick, if you have a high score of controller, is compliment. Wow, Brenda, you know what I like about what you just said? I like this part. Can we do this activity more and the other part maybe less? What do you think? And then you get to cooperation. And when you get to cooperation, that controller goes down. Hyperachiever. Hyperachiever is you need to be best. Not only does it have to be a certain way, you need to win. And that's difficult to do all the time, rather than what is your best? You're enough. You have enough self-confidence, self-esteem, and well-being in your family to be connected or with friends. You don't need to be the super achiever. You don't have to be A plus plus all the time. That's not really doable anyway. And so when we combine controller and hyperachiever, what do we get? Stress, frustration, anger, and I'm pretty sure all of you can relate with me on a daily basis. You're trying best to be healthy, maintain weight, follow a new plan. When we get a frustration tolerance breaking point, we go to our go to. And those of us in this audience, our go to is food. So now your go to will be, how do I take care of myself better? What's the best choice for me? And so, what positive intelligence offers you is the mindset to react to life's stressors with a positive mindset, not a survival mode, not an anxiety mode, not an anger mode. When we're in those survival modes, we react poorly. Now, I'm going to share one more, the pleaser. I'm in mental health. I mean, that's part of the goal. I'm a coach. I want to please you. However, when you have a high pleaser score, what's happening? You give in, you let people have their way, and then I want you to memorize this. You don't state your expectations. So unconsciously or subconsciously, you keep pleasing others and you're wondering, hey, what about me? What's going on with me? What's in it for me? Why aren't people giving me what I need? And they're not, because you're not asking for it. And I know now, after it's been 10 months since I went through the program, got certified, my wife and I, we are on the same page. We're splitting time between 29 Palms, California and Henderson, Nevada. Our relationship is great. She's helping take care of the grandkids. We're on the same page. And the stress level between us is virtually gone because I'm stating my expectations. I'm asking for what I want or need, and we're coming into balance. And when you do this with spouses, friends, family, coworkers, bosses, I want you to think about this. What would your life look like? And what would it feel like on a daily basis you're consistently being your best? And what I mean by that is, if we look at things from a 1 to 10, if you're functioning at level 7 to 10 on a regular basis, what would that feel like? It feels amazing. And what happens is we don't go into survival mode. We don't need to go into our poor habits of eating to cover up or mask feelings of anger, frustration, low self confidence. And what this program will do with some exercises, and this, what the amazing part about this is, it's 2 minutes a day, 4 times a day. 2 minutes a day, 4 times a day. So before I turn it over to Brenda, let's try an exercise. If you're able to, certainly not if you're driving. If you can, I'd like everybody to stand up. If you're driving and you can, just take your thumb and index finger. Take your thumb and index finger, and I'd like you to think of a stressor, just something that irritates you most. Take a breath, and I want you to feel the ridges on your fingertips. And if you can stand, push down on your feet and wiggle your toes. Push down on your feet and wiggle your toes. Rub your index finger and thumb together just lightly so you can feel the ridges. And when you say to yourself, there's another option for me, I can choose a better plan. And you just do that for 1 minute. What are you doing? We've seen it on MRIs. We have physical proof. You're rewiring the blood flow in your brain. You're overriding these emotional saboteurs. And you're going to choose a decision through calm, sage thinking. You're going to start making better decisions for yourself automatically. That's what's great about this program is it's going to happen automatically. It's not, you're going to be incorporating a new software program. All right, so I've talked a lot there. So Brenda, any questions or comments you would like to make? And I'll stop the share for a moment.
No, no questions. This is great. And I took the test. I was looking for my results, but all of those things kind of resonated. It's funny because, you have not just one key area that it really kind of a lot of these areas. I mean, at least mine were a lot of these areas that you're talking about that I could see myself in. And, knowing how to navigate that in a better way is super helpful.
Yeah. And I'm looking at some of the comments people are posting. Donna says she's a perfectionist. So think of this. So perfectionist, and then my scores were hyperachiever, controller. If this was 9 months ago, I would have told Brenda, well, we have to wait. My screen isn't exact. My webcam isn't aligned correctly. I don't have perfect lighting. And you know what? People don't care. People want information and they want to know if they can connect with you. So I let go of those things. Do I want to do a great job on a podcast? You bet. Do I want to help all of you? I'm driven. My mission I learned this as a teenager. I really have always thrived and loved how do I help people take a step up? And so um, I've always been puzzled. I had a neuromuscular disorder growing up. Thank God it left me when I was 18, but I couldn't play sports like regular kids could. And I was always puzzled with a disorder you can't see. Why are you mistreated by others? And how do you find ways to fit in? So I learned to fit in the nerd way. I am king of nerds. I was student government. I was drama class. I was charity club starter. I did all the opposite things of sports to get involved and connect with people. And so it's always been just a part of who I am. But that perfectionist, when I started doing coaching full time, it's like, well, the sound might not be perfect. I'm not waiting for that. Jump in. And what do those saboteurs do for you? If you're picky and perfect, oh, is the protein, oh, it's got this one artificial ingredient. Oh, I don't like the wrapper. Oh, the company hasn't been around long enough. Oh, I've never heard of that. Oh my God, it's got a tiny bit of stevia. I don't know if I could tolerate that. Let it go. Okay, if you're not growing your own food, you can still make fantastic healthy choices. And how many of you who are just sitting, or even if you're driving, you're listening, I'm holding up my 64-ounce thermos. I take it everywhere. Got to drink water, got to drink water, got to drink water, got to sip, 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 no matter what. And now, we're finally getting into spring, summer here in 29 Palms where, we change times. I'm able to take my dog walking for a mile and a half up to the entrance of Joshua Tree National Monument and back. And so she is my personal trainer because when I come home from work from my day job, she immediately wants me to get the leash and let's go for a walk, which is great for me now that it's not getting dark at 4 o'clock. So habits, how do we stick to those habits when the emotional saboteurs kick in? Oh, sit down, you've worked hard all day, take a break. Oh, it's okay to, not have that healthy meal, it takes too long to prepare. Oh, our saboteurs help us get off track. Our saboteurs help us get off track. They don't want change. And so the one that really, really, really gets in the way as we're moving forward, how many of you felt like this? You want to start something new, you buy it, and you don't start and finish the program. That's the avoider. The fear of starting something new, the fear of change, the lack of confidence. And then the other one that can really get in the way, and this was hard for me to admit. It wasn't a high score, but it was higher than I would have liked to admit for myself. Victim. Do you ever feel like life's just rolling downhill on you? That conflict with your spouse, that conflict with your boss, with the coworker, dread about something. And so, for those of you who are watching the podcast, I'm going to do this so you can see it. For those of you listening in, I'll describe it. Some of us do this. Our mouth is open and we wave it in. So, what falls from the sky, you know what? And we let it all fall on us. And when we get out of that victim role, two things happen. We start taking action. Actually, three things happen: confidence level and your self-esteem. What's self-esteem? Do you like and love yourself? Confidence, can I do this? What happens when you lower the victim score is, instead of letting you know what fall on you, you'll step aside, you'll let it fall, and pick any example you want. Hey, boss, look, there's a pile of stuff there. Here's what I'd like to do about it. You let me know what you want to do about it, but I know if we don't do anything, we're going to have plague and bugs in about an hour. Hey, honey, my spouse, this thing happened. What can we do about it? What would you like to do to fix it? How can we come together and make a plan? Right. And so, what positive intelligence, or as I refer to it, mental fitness, new software for your brain, does four things. We're going to feel different and better about ourselves. We're going to lower those saboteurs and upload new software. We're going to rewire our brain and blood flow to consistently respond to life's challenges with a positive mindset. Your confidence and self esteem will grow, and your relationships will change. You're going to communicate differently, easier, better. Friends, family, bosses, coworkers, and I'm just looking at some of the comments. We have to have a podcast together with the perfectionists, sticklers, and hyperachievers. That'll be fun. And so, those of you that are commenting, you can't find your quiz results, just look for an email from support@positiveintelligence.com. If you can't find it, take the quiz again, and um, Brenda will share at the end of the podcast. You can make an appointment with me to go. Um, we'll have a quick chat about what your results mean, and then later on in the podcast, we're going to share how you can enroll into this program. So, 6 weeks to change your life. So I've
Hey,
spoken a lot.
Brian.
Yeah, I need
Yeah,
to take a sip
I
of
want to
water.
say, I feel like I remember whenever I took my test, I may be wrong, that it took a little while for it to come through. I'm not sure
Oh, yes,
why.
yes, yes.
I'm not sure why it wasn't immediate. Like, I
They're
want to say
upgrading
a
their
while.
yeah, they're upgrading their system. So as the change comes over, sometimes it's 45 minutes. Sometimes, so if you took it right before the podcast, you might not get it for an hour.
Okay.
But
I was going to
at
say, because I think I
most,
retook mine too, because I was
yeah,
like, what
at
happened?
most 24 hours. And if you don't get it, of course, check your spam, but then email support at Positive Intelligence and they'll find out what happened. So
Also, Brian, Trish says, she said, tell him it's Trish. I took the test.
cool.
She wanted you to know. And then of course you've been reading the other comments on the different people who have said what they aligned with as far as their test results. Um,
Oh, Susan said, Susan's right. You will probably get an email from Shirzad at Positive Intelligence. So look for Shirzad or Positive Intelligence, and your quiz results will show up. And you said Trish wanted, yeah, whoever's taken the quiz, again, if you want to book an appointment with me, we'll share how you can do that. And then if you want to jump right in, this is literally 6 weeks, 4 times a day, 2 minutes, 1 hour video on Saturday, and you get a small group with me, 3 to 4 people max, and 1 week of coaching with me for 6 weeks. And we go right through what is specific for you and what saboteurs do we need to nip in the bud.
and I'm posting those links, Brian, and we'll talk about it more later, where
Sure,
you can show them your website and your coaching and all of that.
sure.
But since we're talking about it now, that's a great time to bring it in. Because the thing is the thing is once I took my test, I'm like, okay, what do I do now?
Yep.
How do I fix this? I don't want to say fix it, but how do I make things better in my life that maybe like if, for example, I'm kind of like the controller too. Whenever I see things that I want done, I'm like in my mind, I know that I want them done, and like being able to communicate with other people on how to do that effectively can be really powerful instead of just saying, hey, like getting angry and saying,
Yep.
hey, this isn't done the way I think it should.
Yep. And then what's key to this, and Brenda, I think you hit the nail on the head, you'll get the results. So, where Shirzad's program, where positive intelligence absolutely is a change, this is the next evolution in personal development. This is a combination of neuroscience, cognitive behavioral therapy, positive psychology, and emotional intelligence rolled into one. And what we've learned is insight isn't enough. That's why when you go to a 3 day seminar and you're all charged up, that motivation wears off. It's not you personally, it's the emotional saboteurs. It's life getting in the way. And so when we reduce the impact of the saboteurs and reintegrate new thinking and reactions to things, and you're reacting in a positive way, think about this. You start making better decisions, not just insight, but decisions that are beneficial to you and others. And so it is a new way of thinking where our old way of thinking is, well, I'll go along with the family decision, or I'll follow along with the boss, or, whatever it is. And what this is lowering your anger. This is lowering your frustration level. This is feeling confident, better daily. And I can tell you from my own experience, and I'll share with you the website. You can look at some testimonials and 200,000 other people from around the world who've gone through the program. I just really want you to concentrate on what would life look like for me if I felt better all the time. But I want you to listen to this carefully. I am not saying life will be perfect. That's what the hypervigilant and the controller tries to do. And the stickler. We want things to be a certain way, and the world isn't like that. I've been doing substance abuse treatment for 25 years, and one of the mantras I tell clients there, and I had to learn this the hard way through my own weight loss journey. Very important concept. Tune into this. The more you fight to change the external world, the harder life gets. Before my weight loss surgery, the second time, I was fighting food. I was fighting my addiction to food. I used to think chocolate and pasta were better than human relationships, and they're not. Just felt like that, post divorce, traveling on the road by myself, going around the country. So it's really important that you get this. I am not saying this will stop the world from pounding on you. The way you change the world is two ways. You change how you act on what happens to you. When you change how you act on what happens to you, your life gets better because you're no longer trying to change the whole world. I'm having an impact just by me changing. And then my little corner of the world that I'm in, the people around me change. So this is a universal law. This is like gravity. You cannot change this. When you change how you feel about yourself and how you communicate with others, and you're consistent in that, other people around you have to change how they deal with you. Let me say that again. When you change how you feel about yourself and you upgrade that, and you change how you communicate with others, Other people have to change how they communicate with you, and the world gets better. Think of siblings. You know, when I changed how I reacted to my older brothers picking on me, I didn't act the same. They eventually stopped picking on me because they weren't getting the reaction they liked. So they moved on to something else. And so it's the same type of thing. So here, another important part, and I don't mean to get on my, well, I do mean to get on my high horse because I so believe in this. I'm passionate about this. It's not just diet. It's not just exercise. It's how you feel about yourself day to day. And then on top of that process, this is what's really important is you're changing and your life becomes easier. But when you go through this severe weight change, if you do have the surgery, you're changing your relationship with food, with family, with friends, with coworkers, because face it, if you're going to stay on plan the first 2 years, you're eating differently than everybody. I mean, my gosh, the first 6 months, you're having a sip of something and you're full, for heaven's sakes. And so, I was working out of prison. I bought a giant cooler. I had to get permission from the warden to bring ice packs in. He says, "Why?" I said, "We don't have a refrigerator. I'm not having bread anymore." So I'm having cottage cheese and a third of a hard-boiled egg, but I was eating something every couple of hours or sipping on something every couple of hours. Well, then we had to look at my family, and then my grandkids were living with us. So I was cooking 4 different meal plans. Now, for me, I love cooking, so it didn't bother me. But now my family's on the same page. It took 3 years, and we're all eating healthy together. And you can do the same thing. But it's different than when you make demands, when you argue, when you insult, when you are clashing versus we're cooperating, we're on the same page. But it really starts with your confidence, your consistency. And so this is a program that will build consistency, change how you react and love yourself, and change how you interact with people, food, and life's curveballs. For instance, if this was 6 years ago, I might not have been able to do this podcast. You know who I'm so angry at? And if you're a baseball fan, I encourage you to email Rob Manfred right now and ask him why does he hate baseball? Opening day for the Dodgers is 3 in the morning in Korea. Really? Okay, well, if we're going to have a game in Korea, why can't I watch Dodger games in Henderson, Nevada? Because Major League Baseball believes that Henderson, Nevada, which is Vegas, is drivable to Dodger Stadium. So I'm a thorn. I love being a gadfly. I have an auto email that goes out every week to Rob Manfred, Commissioner of Baseball, saying I will personally drive him from Vegas to Dodger Stadium and let's find out what time we get to the game because it's not a 4 hour drive. But now I've let go of that. I still have the autoresponder, but I don't let that anger drive me. It's just baseball. So my question to you is, what things are stuck in your head that you're frustrated and angry about that if you change your approach and things you need to let go of? I mean, I've let go of that. I just send the email for fun at this point. But what can you let go of to make your life better? My life's improved. I can watch Dodger game when I can watch a Dodger game. I move on to other things. I got plenty of other things to fill my life up between grandkids, work, coaching, and what I love doing. So where are you stuck is my question. Where are you stuck? And this program, I guarantee will help you get unstuck. And I'm sorry, I got on my high horse. I'm going to be quiet now, Brenda. You take over.
Well, I feel like, it kind of just proves what you're saying, like the little changes that we make every day in our life can affect not only us, but all the people around us. And affect our life in reality, how you perceive things, like how you perceive everything. Everything is really through our inner world. We think everything is external that's affecting us, but getting a grasp on that internal world is what's so important. And um, that's why we're here. And so there was a comment. Trish says she attended a meeting more than once with you and Lisa Marie, because I know you and Lisa Marie
Yes.
in Orange County had done some events. So she had attended those. And so also she said, anyone that is on this podcast, be sure and take him up on the evaluation because you're great at your profession. So that says a lot
Thank,
about you.
thank you. And it's funny, you just said the external world. The other thing that just popped into my head, folks, do you know what's in my kitchen cabinets? I mean, my grandkids come here part-time now that they're living in Nevada. I've got the four evil characters in my cabinet.
Mm.
I have the cheese goldfish, chocolate gummies, Easter bunny chocolate, lemon cake mix, chocolate cake mix, coconut muffin mix. And I can't have any of that because it's 80 grams of sugar or more. But I'm at the point now, stuff whatever you need, honey, in the kitchen. Just leave my two shelves alone. Right. My big fault is I overbuy. So got, I think I've got three different flavors from you, Brenda, of protein powder. I've got more vitamins than I need. So if the apocalypse happens, I'm good for about a year before I have to really worry about anything. And so, but my family likes, oh, there's clutter, oh, there's this. And I'm like, no, it's not clutter, it's what I'm using. Leave my cabinet alone. I have extra, so I don't have to just buy every month. So anyway, let me share one more quick thing with all of you. Any questions coming up, Brenda, or anything you want to share at this point?
Nope, not right now.
Or-
Donna does, looks like we have Don says, learning to forgive something and just letting it go.
Yep. Oh, I love that. And if you're a stickler or hyperachiever, it is hard. So I know Brenda will put this in the chat. You can take a look at the hyperlink is bit.ly /Dr. Brian Mental Fitness. So bit.ly /Dr. Brian Mental Fitness. And that will take you to this page. And you talk about controller hyperachiever. Is the website perfect yet? No, but I'm working on it. But I wasn't going to not share it with you. So here we go. So you can take a look and scroll around. So this is the web page you're going to go to, Better Mental Fitness. Welcome to the new you. You can watch Shirzad present what is positive intelligence. Take the quiz. Let's schedule a chat. But I did something special for Brenda's audience and all of you attending and watch. So we have two programs. So I'm cutting the price in half. So you can enroll now. And if you pay upfront, you will get 2 extra months of coaching. And instead of $3,000 for the year, it's 1,500. So you get the app for the year. After the 6 weeks, you're automatically enrolled in what's called Grow. So you get daily access, and then you choose what focus you want, and then I will help coach you through that. And then, if need be, because I know things are tight for people, you can absolutely 100% make payments. And you will also get a year-long access. You'll pay for 10 months, so I'm not charging you any interest, and it is $150 a month. And so easy payments, certainly affordable, and then you make the decision. And I will tell you that I am not the internet marketer king. You're not going to get a pop-up, oh, if you get this, get that. And oh, you bought this. What about this for an upgrade? That's not me. And if you enroll, or well, I'm sorry, when you schedule an appointment with me, I'm going to ask you 20 more questions than we've talked about here. You're going to decide if this is right for you. It's going to be your decision. I'm not going to pressure you. I'm going to offer it to you. I want you to make the best decision that's best for you. But I will do this. If you do the work and when you enroll, you get access to the app, and I, as your coach, will know if you're doing the daily exercises. If after 2 weeks you're not feeling better compared to where you are on your saboteur quiz, better about yourself, we'll stop the program and I'll reimburse you. But you have to do the work every day, 7 days a week for 14 days. I've been doing this for 9 months now, and no one has asked for their money back. That's because they all are using their controller saboteur. No, it's because they love the program, of course. You don't stay in something because of your saboteurs if you don't like it. But I guarantee you're going to feel better. This is the best personal development program I've been involved with, and I've gone through Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins got me through grad school. I did Fire Walk with Me and walked across the coals, and you can tell how shy I am, very withdrawn, very introverted, not. I was sitting up front, and it was a much smaller crowd back in '89 than it is now when he does an event. And I volunteered to go across the coals, and I said to him when his mic was off, I said, you're the big mentor. How about if you walk with me? And he walked with me. And as we're walking, he said, the price of me walking with you. I said, I already paid, dude. And he says, no, you're going to walk 40 people across. So I went across the coals 40 times. And that taught me I can finish a dissertation. I can make it through grad school. Because at that time, the longest paper I ever wrote was 20 pages. Your dissertation has to be more than 20 pages. So my dissertation, front cover to back cover, was 151 pages. And I never thought I could do that. And so this is just the next evolution. This is insight plus action plus awareness. And again, I guarantee that you will benefit from this. And when you change the inner you will change how you relate to others, and you will have a positive relationship with food. Because if this was 8 years ago, before my gastric sleeve surgery, the kitchen cabinet would be talking to me right now. I could hear the cases of chocolate muffins saying, make me, eat me, make me, eat me. Have this now. Have this snack. Finish the goldfish and tell your wife you didn't know what happened to them. Maybe they fell in the water. Of course, we live in the desert, so there isn't any water. So, I know sneaking food, hiding food, stopping off somewhere to eat before you come home. I know all the tricks. I know all the saboteurs because I've been through it twice. And I'm committed to help you do three things. And I will tell you right now, this is not just for weight loss. This is for a new, better you. This is you 2.0. And it is a powerful, fun program. And I haven't had any, everybody has doubts when they start. That's your judge. Usually by the middle of the second week, I start getting text messages from everybody. When is our pod meeting? When are we getting together? We got to talk about this. People want to just jump through to week 8. And so, no, we got to go 1 week at a time. So, anyway, I'm positive you will all love this program. And at least take the saboteur quiz and let's have a conversation, because we all have them. And it's just a question of how is this impacting you?
How does this how does this differ from your like clinical psychology background where you probably did um kind of help people in that way versus coaching? How do you see it as being different?
This is fast track. So this is make changes now, integrate them. And if you've been through major trauma as a child, as an adult, this will help. I know that at Stanford, they're working with people with PTSD and it's helping. But if you come to me and you've got heavy trauma and I see as a psychologist that it's impacting you, I will help you refer yourself to someone who's a specialist in dealing with that. But if you deal with the PTSD in therapy and you go through positive intelligence, you're going to get better faster because I'm using the saboteur quiz in our substance abuse clinic. And all of our clients are like, wow, this is power. Yeah, I see that in myself. And I'm dealing with first responders, police, fire, veterans. And so it's just unethical for me to be treating them in substance abuse and then coaching them. But also, I'm old enough to remember where Freud was king. I'm not going to talk to you about how your mom and dad impacted you greatly. I'm going to say, I wonder if, and it seems like, and here's how you can change that. And we're going to just shift you fast forward. So, and I don't mean to be evasive, but I tell you, just being a therapist, I can tell is something going on where you might need a therapist's help. Yes, and I'll refer you, but it doesn't mean you can't benefit from this program because your therapist will notice that you're making changes. And if you have a high victim controlling score or stickler score, your therapist will be thrilled you're going through this program because the more you lower your defenses or the saboteurs, the more open you are to making changes, and your therapist will help you do that too. But this is slower um, than going to therapy because you don't have the daily exercises. You know, therapists will give you handouts and things, but it's not uh, 20 minutes a day, every day, 7 days a week.
So, well, Brian, you want to do a little recap for everybody? Like
Sure.
just a short little recap?
Sure. Well, thank you all for joining us live. And certainly, if you're watching the replay, make an appointment. Again, you can go to bit.ly/Dr. Brian Mental Fitness, make an appointment or enroll. Easy to enroll. You can pay full price. You're going to get access to the program for a full year. You get coaching with me. You get the Grow program. You can make payments, 150 a month, no interest. And you can have a discovery call with me, calendly.com/forward slash Dr. Brian chat. And so what are you getting? We're going to lower the emotional saboteurs. You're going to let go of that judge critic. You're going to let go of the controller, the pleaser, the victim, the stickler. Basically, what you're going to do is find a new you, communicate easier, have a better positive relationship with life's curveballs. You're going to be able to handle stress, pain, anger, frustration with a positive mindset. You're going to make decisions that are best for you with a calm mind. And life's curveballs will no longer derail you. And because we're all in this journey together, I'm going to help you change your relationship with food and your emotions tied to that and make some permanent changes.
Okay. Um, I think we had, yeah, thank you guys. It looks like Rebel had a question here. She said, this has been wonderful. She was a bit late. She wants Rebel, I'll copy your information. I'm also gonna, and I'll make sure I do submit to programs to, have attendance for people who have attended these events. If that's something you're interested in, I'm gonna send my email as well, but I can definitely submit that for you. It's Hain, my last name, HOEHNB, my first initial at procarenow.com. So I have that. And I also want to give a shout out to Brian to our Chris says thank you, by the way. And I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, ProCare Health. And we usually do like a little promo on one of our products. Today, I'm going to bring up a little something here. Give me 1 second. Bring up a little graphic. I'm going to share my screen and
Well, I will share something while you're doing that, Brenda, that I
yes.
found out when I met you at the Obesity Help Conference because my controller and hypervigilant had me look you up on the phone, and prices and ingredients are different than the largest other uh, vendor out there that sells multiple bariatric products. So if you want to save money, have pure ingredients, and feel better, I will say hop onto ProCare.
Oh, thanks for the shout out, Brian. I know you've tried the question here I'm posing is looking for a quality protein powder with different purchasing options. And I know that you have tried our protein powders. We do have, whoops, actually going backwards this way. Um, that's for next week. Just got to stay tuned for that one, that solution there. Um, we have with our chocolate and vanilla protein powder, I do agree with you. We tried to be at the price point or below the price point of a lot of our major competitors. We wanted to make sure we worked with actually a dietitian for about 2 years, and we developed what she considered to be it was a bariatric dietitian, by the way, what she considered to be her dream product. So we have one of the best types of protein that's best absorbed. It's whey isolate protein, 26 grams. We added in an immunity blend because at the time this was created, which has been since COVID, a lot of people were looking for extra immunity. We added electrolytes for those people who are in the either pre-op or post-op or who are in the um, I'm going to say fitness zone where they're looking for a little bit of extra electrolytes in their beverages. We added digestive enzymes because not everybody can tolerate, the types of protein shakes that are out there. Sometimes our bellies just don't digest them well. And so when we go to, I'm going to kind of go to the ProCare. Whoops, that's our Facebook page. If I go to I'm going to have to go back there, and we're going to go to. I love our expressions here. Isn't that hilarious, Brian? You
let's,
look like
let's,
you're.
let's
I
sign
have
up
a bar.
now.
I know. I have a
The
bar pulled up, and it's.
controller.
I love it. That I love the way it screenshots. It's in the most opportune times. When you go to the ProCare website, guys, it's procarenow.com, and you can go to the little tab that says products. Under products is the proteins, and when you go there, went ahead and pulled up the vanilla and the chocolate here just to make it really super quick. But our whey isolate protein powder, there's different options that you can purchase those in. We have little single packets, we have a little tub version, and then we also have a larger 2 pound bag. So depending on where you're at with that, a one serving is 225. A one-time purchase for a 30 serving 2 pound bag is $37 or 36 with our subscribe and save. And then a 15 pound tub is 24.99. So versus or 23.74 if you do the subscribe and save. And guys, the other thing I want to say is if you've not tried ProCare, we do offer free samples. At the top, when you go to procarenow.com, there's a blue bar there. It says interested in free sample. You can click there and you can get free samples. So if you want to try the the different protein supplements before you actually purchase them, you can try a free sample. So you get on there, you click on there and ask for a free sample. At the very bottom of the form is a little message box, and you can put vanilla, protein powder, chocolate, or whatever you want to try specifically. Also want to say too, guys, these Berry Connected podcasts on this typically when you go to the ProCare Health page, there is a tab that says Very Connected, and you can actually scroll down on that page and you'll find all of our upcoming weekly events. And also, it goes month by month. So Brian's on there. The replay will be on demand until the end of the month. We also add all of our replays to the Very Connected podcast. So if you kind of go into your favorite podcast version, whether it's iTunes or iHeartRadio or YouTube or Spotify, you can actually click here onto any of those. On ours or just type in Barry Connected when you get into your podcast station. And then we also have a YouTube channel, which I have pulled up. When you can click onto the icon on our page and it'll bring it up. And we actually have over, it looks like 239 videos right now. So all different kinds of topics on all different kinds of topics that we've done in the past, much like Brian has done today. Brian's his episode will be airing Tuesday of next week on this forum and on the podcast. So usually always the following Tuesday that we put everything on there. And the very last thing I also want to say is we also have on this Berry Connected page, you can join us on Facebook on our page or on our group. And when you click there, it'll bring you directly to the Berry Connected Facebook page and group, and you can stay connected before and after these events and have all different kinds of community, extra community. We're all about that. So I'm going to stop sharing here. And I noticed there's some more in the chat box here. Oh, thank you guys. We love you guys. Oh, I also
And
want to add Brian's affiliate. He is an affiliate, so you guys can save by ordering through Brian's link and code. His If you use his savings code, which is Dr. Brian 77, you can save 10% off your order. So it's kind of just a little way of saving extra. And I'm going to type that.
some of you are commenting. So I do have a
Me
day job
to
at
do
a
that.
substance abuse clinic. I am available most Fridays and Saturdays if you want to have a 15-minute chat. So if you don't see a available time on my calendar, please message me on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn, or connect with me on my webpage and we will find a time to meet. Time will
Brian,
not
would you
be
like for me to put your email as well?
sure.
They want that.
That'd be
All of this information, if you guys are listening to a replay, all of this will be in the description of the podcast and of the YouTube video. So make sure, just wanted to let everybody know that they have that. I'm also pasting your email there.
thanks. So thanks everybody for attending, and those of you listening while you're driving, Brian at drbrianspeaks.com is my email. And it's been a pleasure, Brenda. I can't thank you enough for your time and patience in doing this with me. And thank you.
Well, I appreciate you too, Brian, so much, and appreciate all of you out there. So, everybody, take care. Brian, have a wonderful rest of your day. Everybody out there, have a wonderful rest of your day, wherever you are in this great, enormous world. And we love you guys. Take care and stay empowered.